Kroniclez here from winsource.com, and today I'm with Stevelol and we're going to be discussing that awkward moment when you play Brink. This game has been hyped up way too much and is honestly a pile of shit. We'll take you through it and let you know what we think when we played it on the first day of its release. So with the story, very simple concept. Floating ark, which is a utopian society, separates himself from the world and a civil war breaks out in the middle. The game tries to convey the story to you through cutscenes at the start of campaign missions, as well as a shitty little FMV at the start of the actual game when you choose which side you want to be on. There's voiceovers on loading screens, but honestly there's not really much emphasis on the story.
Basically, to cut the chase, it's red versus blue. There's no emphasis on the story at all. It's you're the good guys and you stop the bad guys from coming in. You're the bad guys and you fucking escape. And that's it. There's no depth to it at all. That's basically it. Which really fucks up how the game really plays.
Well, there's not much else to talk about the story, so let's move into the more interesting part of the game. So, the gameplay. In a nutshell, this game is an objective-based teamwork game. You have 4 classes: a soldier, medic, operative and engineer. They function the same, but they have a couple of extra abilities to separate them from each other. There's also a system called SMART, which is smooth movement across random terrain. Basically it's parkour, allows your character to efficiently navigate through the level. You can jump up ledges, you can slide under bullshit, etc, etc. The main problems we found with this, while this SMART system is actually interesting and works, there's not much emphasis on it. The classes aren't differentiated enough. And being objective based, that's all you're exposed to in the gameplay. There's not much else to do in the game, is there?
No, there's absolutely nothing to do in the game. Like, the classes lack any kind of depth at all. Like, you can all use the same gun. All you have is, like, you know, a subpar shitty ability that really doesn't affect the gameplay too much at all. If you're playing single player, the AI is dumb as shit. It just runs along the waypoints and doesn't navigate away from the objective. Shooting guns doesn't feel like you actually, you're really shooting something. You go play COD or Crisis or anything, or Counter-Strike back in the old days, you feel like you're actually shooting a gun. But with this game, it just feels really dated and stale. Not to mention when there's multiple enemies, the gun just fucking goes all over the place.
The AI is a big problem for me. They bunch up too much. They give a shit more about the secondary objectives or the control points as opposed to actually fulfilling the objectives. Your AI will never change class and you basically have to do all the work. They're just dumb as batshit. In terms of the guns, they recoil whenever they feel like it, which probably could be fixed in a patch. I doubt that's actually technically implemented into the game to function like that. And on the point about the guns, in terms of the sound in the game actually isn't that bad. The problem is the sound cuts out whenever it feels like. There's a lot of times I found the sound cutting out. The game's not polished, it's not finished, it's like it's in beta. Which brings us to the online aspect. There's a lot of problems with the online, apart from the fact that half the people don't even know how to play this game properly. There's no variety, there's nothing else to do in this game. All you do is this objective-based bullshit, online or offline, and once you're done through the campaign, which only takes like 3 hours to finish, there's no reason to come back and play it, is there?
Not at all. You're doing essentially the same thing you're doing in single player. You're just doing it with, a bunch of fucking randoms over the internet who have the same artificial intelligence as the bots actually do. There's, as I said, like, most people want a quick fix. You want your random shooter. You want to have different modes like team deathmatch, etc. Like, at the end of the day, you're gonna get more pissed off with having one mode because you're gonna have 50% of the of the player base not knowing what the fuck to do and just going around killing people, losing and getting shit to it. It doesn't work. There needs to be some more kind of variety when you're playing online, and this game really fails at that, at giving some kind of variety in anything, single player or multiplayer.
And also, on that note, while most people will argue that this game is trying to focus on objective team-based play, at the end of the day you still need to have variety. I understand this game is trying to push us in a Team Fortress type of philosophy where you have to rely on your class's abilities and play, know your role. But at the same time, if you're trying to market this to everyone, why not let the game cater to everyone? If you're marketing at a certain demographic, market it to them in the first place. This game was marketed at everyone, but as soon as you jumped on it, you found it was nothing revolutionary about it. It was more like, oh, this is, you play this or you get the fuck out. That's pretty much what it was. One of the actual decent features in this game is the customization. Now, you would agree, Steve, that on the actual menu screens, the customization is quite in-depth and looks good, right?
Oh yeah, like when we first turned the game on, you were like, dude, I'm like, man, I don't give a fuck about customization. I was like, oh, actually, this is kind of cool. I'm going to change what my character looks like. Be a bit in depth. Cut out, some new features and unlocks and new unlockables to change what my guy looks like. But at the end of the day, you don't see anything. That's due to the fact that the graphics end up being so fucking crap. It's not funny. Like, it feels like I'm playing Doom 3D like 15 years ago.
Yeah, the game has bad texture popping, especially on the Xbox 360. Hopefully that can be patched, but at the moment what happens is when you go up to a texture, they take so long to load that you actually see the lowest resolution of the texture while you're running around the map, therefore giving the impression that the game is just a pile of crap. Even when the textures are loaded, I've done some tests standing next to it, they do end up looking like shit. The customization, as we were talking about, there's no point to it, because while you can customize your character, make them look awesome in the menu, in game you don't ever see your character. Your enemies are covered in a red glow, so you know that they're your enemy. You can't see the customization on other players, and the only thing that you do see is not customizable, which is your gun. How hard was it to add some sort of decals or camouflage changing or skins to the guns? So yeah, the graphics aren't that great either in this game, so I guess that brings us to wrapping up this game, which is exactly what we did, and handed it back to the store we bought it from.
Yeah, I wish we didn't fucking have to unwrap it. It was that bad. Like I was so happy when I bought it. So were you. Like, oh yeah, this is awesome. It's got decent reviews, etc. And we wanted to buy it. But at the end of the day, like, we could do a rundown of the points where it fails, and we can a tiny wrap off of where it succeeds, which is basically just in the bargain bin. That's where it's going to succeed, and that's the only place it's going to succeed on the online market at all. The number one factor is the gameplay is dated for me.
For me, I think the story could have been expanded on. Maybe give us a single player mode and leave the campaign bullshit to online / offline, whatever, but also give us a single player mode to explore the arc. With gameplay, it needs to be really ironed and polished. The game feels very beta-ish and very buggy. With the online aspect, there's not enough diversity. I reckon more modes, Italian team deathmatch, capture the flag. Let us focus on smart. Let us run around those levels and utilize them differently. At the moment, we use the levels for one reason, for that objective-based play. Once the experts get these levels down, they're going to only follow one path the whole freaking time. There's some good maps in here, and they can be used for different modes very well. And can also show off the smart system. In terms of presentation, fix those graphics, please. They are horrid. I don't know what you can do about that. Overall though, I think this game did have the basis to be a very successful title, but I think the execution of it overall was just not thought through well. It was rushed, and it's just not turned out like what it was promised to be. So check out winsource.com, follow us on Facebook and Twitter to keep up to date with all our stuff, and we'll catch you next time.